my part saying it, just overall, it's kind of early right now. I mean, I'm really antsy. I'm antsy for football season for sure.
At least if nothing else, preseason.
Yeah, preseason going to set the pace because remember, wasn't they talking about they were going to cut out preseason?
Yeah, 2 games are gone.
Two games out of 4.
Oh, we never did cover that.
Let's find. Let's make sure. Well, because the schedule wasn't supposed to come out till I think May.
Yeah,
something, right?
and there's also 17 weeks now.
Yeah, 17
versus
weeks.
60.
I think we did cover that.
Let me see if we can
Yeah,
find
we
the schedule.
covered.
But yeah, we couldn't find the schedule. That's what it was. So let's see if that's good.
It's basically one extra game, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, weren't we discussing that it should be an even number because one extra game is kind of odd number?
Well, okay. This is why it's only one extra game, right? When you're in AFC division, and we're gonna just pick one. We're gonna go south, right? Because that's which one we're in, right?
Okay.
The way it works is that
it's not released to May 12th.
You play your own division twice.
Right.
So because you're 1 of 4, that's 6 games, right? 3 home, 3 away.
Right.
Okay. Then you play another AFC division, right?
Right.
Okay. That other division could be, either
North,
one
south.
of the well, if you're south, it's either north, west, or east, right?
This constitutes for the 17
and it
weeks.
rotates, right? So okay, so that's 4 more games,
So that's a total
right?
of
Depending
10.
on who you get. Now, you also play an alternative conference,
So if you're
which
AFC, you're
rotates.
gonna pay
So if you're AFC, you play one NFC division, I'm sorry, right? And that rotates, and that's 4 games. So right now we are at what? A whopping 14 games. Okay. Well, how do we have 16? Well, beforehand, they would go like this. You would have to play one team with the same record or equivalent of the other 2 divisions. So like if you won the division, you would have to play the winner of the division of the West or East, or depending on what the remaining conference games are,
Makes sense.
to make your schedule more difficult.
Right.
Right. And
The bracket breaks down.
now, so for the third one, they're actually adding an alternate of the NFC. They're adding another NFC game, and that's where they're getting it.
Do you gentlemen would disagree with if the NFL, Roger Goodell with the all tooting the horn, that would be something if he said, you know what, the hell with it. Let's go 20 weeks in a regular season.
Would
That
never
would
happen.
kinda-
Do you realize? I mean, okay,
But the revenue.
if they wanted to do it, they would have to do it one of 2 ways.
or start earlier in the season.
They would have to definitely start earlier, but they would have to add a bye week.
And you have to you
build
get
bye
2
weeks,
bye
yeah.
weeks. You'd have to
You
get 2
would
bye
get
weeks.
2
Think
bye
about that.
weeks, and so with a 20
Why
week
not?
with a 20-week game, you would basically break it down to quarters, right? So each quarter is 5 games. So
Right.
after your first 5, you would get a bye, or basically any time in that second
Yeah.
quarter. So in between 6 through 10, you would get a bye, and then no, that wouldn't work either. It would have to. You would almost have to overlap the
Either that or you play. Everybody plays
because
5 games.
it would have to
everybody
be
falls
in that
forward.
sweet spot. So if you just going off of that,
Well, Josh, define the sweet spot.
well, because right now what they try to do is they have a 4-week block,
Right.
starting as early as what, week 8? No, week 8 is
The first bye
Six.
week start
Week
actually
6.
after
Week
week
six.
so
5
between
or
week
6.
6 and week 13, they have a bye week.
Okay.
Right, and that's where they filter it in. Well, they would have to do is that you would basically get, I would say, so if you go 1 through 10 and 11 through 20, you would have to find that sweet spot in the middle of each division. I would say, but you want to finish strong. So maybe something like 4 through 8, and then on the second half it would be 12 through 16. Those would be the sweet spots, because then you would have 17, 18, 19, 20, a solid 4 week leading into the preseason or the postseason.
Yeah.
Then you would have a break, and then I would do it bracket style, like they do with the Final Four,
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
But the best part about if you did give, like, say you had 20 games, a lot of these players, like I said 2 weeks ago, when these guys don't make these teams, you got to add more players because that's a long time to be playing
Oh yeah,
football.
and that. So the 52-man roster would have.
It has to
change
go
as
at
well.
least to 75.
So if you just looking at 17 games, I would be surprised if they don't try
they
to
have
add.
to, they have to
because
bump
take
that
a
up
look.
for one place position.
Take a look at how many teams last year were fighting for more players or acquiring more players there toward the last 6 games of the
They were,
season.
they were beat up.
because they were beat up.
Well, you
There
know,
were injuries.
Like you look at the Texans, they lost everybody in the last 6 games, even though they were in the losing
Oh,
record.
yeah,
They
I
lost
remember.
everybody, whether it was an injury or it was a suspension. And so, with a bigger
They-
roster, you don't have to go through all that.
Well-
you know.
Yeah.
And when somebody's ailing or hurting, you don't have to go to the practice. That's where the practice squad is actually on the team. You understand what I'm saying? These teams raid the practice squad when they lose a lot of players, and the reason they're on the practice squad because they didn't make the team, but they were good enough to keep around.
Yep.
right.
And so
Anyway,
those practice
so
squad
let-
members actually become players on the team. They suit up and everything.
Well, and that's why they have a practice squad.
right.
You know,
But you
or-
have to get rid of the retiring numbers and stuff like that because you have to have these people in numbers to play on the field. They
Well,
can't
let's
just wear
make it
They just
easier
can't have
for-
anything on.
All right,
for,
let's.
for the fans, the viewers, ladies and gentlemen, basically what we're talking of not proposing, because
Hold up, hold
NFL has to do
Ken, we
this.
haven't even introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to bring us in?
Well,
we're gonna let
we're
Josh do
just-
it.
yeah.
Josh, yeah.
Well, damn it, where?
But no,
where's my
that's a
NFL?
good topic, man. Because you know what? A lot of viewers out there, they wish football was happening right now.
Well, we
and see,
all
that's
wish
what
it was
XFL was doing a couple years ago
But see,
before
and
this
that
pandemic
was,
stuff.
that was the
happened.
beauty. That was the beauty of having the XFL right after the football season was over with.
Yeah.
you get people who don't watch baseball, who don't get into
That's the
basketball.
minor leagues of football.
I
or
wouldn't call it-
was.
Shoot,
excuse
some of
me.
them games were better than the ones we've seen last year.
Well,
What
yeah,
talking
you ain't
about?
kidding about that. But you know, there's a lot of fans out there that want football all year round.
But I got faith in The Rock. He gonna bring it. He
Yeah,
gonna make it
dude,
happen.
yeah. Yeah. Even though he's hurting with his wifey right now, and they all that split, they still
I
got
didn't
you
even
know,
heard.
half.
I didn't know they were split.
Well, I mean, I don't read that tabloid stuff, but
Well,
anyway,
if you read
him
tabloid,
bringing
then-
it to the table and she's still the partner, I thought that was very, very beautiful. I was like, hey, keep the party going. But outside of that, I mean, you got fans out there that really want football year round. It's like, think about
Well-
your child. You got school, then you got school year round.
I
I don't want
agree.
to go to school year round. I mean, it's just.
But in order to do it, you would have to do it smart, and
Yeah.
I would break
Yeah,
it up
absolutely.
into basically where you've got a minor league.
Right. Yeah. They'd have
Like
to do
just
that.
just like what they're doing with the XFL. Have that go in the off season. It can be shorter, it can be longer, and of course that can be dependent on about how many teams you have,
Right.
and all that. So I don't know.
Or you put in perspective, you got MLB, Major League Baseball.
Yep.
They have the minor leagues.
Well, like they had that AAF football league where these guys that
Arena
were,
football?
No, it wasn't arena
Well,
football.
the arena football is something.
That
else.
was
but it wasn't.
another
It wasn't
That's
arena
actually
football.
different. Well, I mean, arena is still going on. if
Yeah,
I'm not
Reeves
Yeah,
had a
that's
guy
still
that
going
worked with me. He worked with us for a little while, but once the season started, he left to go back to playing. So there's a lot of places out there where these guys can play football, but nothing to show their real talents unless they're actually playing in a real contest.
Yeah.
Arena football is not the same as the NFL or even college for that matter.
Well, and then thinking in the factor, you got to think about it. When you go to school and you say, you know what, I'm an elite athlete. Okay, I have a chance to make it. All right, let me go to college. That college start catapults you to that next jump. Football. All right, let's start there. You get drafted into the NFL. All right, baseball. Okay, you can potentially go to the minors. It's very unlikely a young man goes out of high school into MLB. Let's think about basketball. Same thing. There is no minor league
No,
basketball.
they have D
team.
league. They have the D league.
D leagues in,
Yeah,
in
they have
basketball.
league.
And let's not forget they do a lot of recruitment out of the
High school level.
well, I was going to say Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
okay.
an Eastern, the European League
Yeah,
over there
yeah,
gets
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
of
Matter of
people.
fact,
Yeah.
the guy I told you about, Justin, that when I say these guys talk shop, football, and basketball, everything,
Yeah.
he used to play in the European League. So he
Well,
blew out his knee.
like what a lot of our top notch well, I wouldn't say top notch, but a lot of our football players that for some reason get cut, they go to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
That's
lot
kinda
of
like
guys. A lot of guys will go because one,
last resort.
or if you have a lot of scout guys on NBA, they'll go over to the European League because it's a different season over there. It's a different schedule.
If I'm not mistaken, not to cut you off, Josh, Michael Jordan, or was it a? Oh man,
It wasn't Michael Jordan.
No, you're probably right. Who was that cat? I think it's San Antonio Spurs. That he was actually in the military, and he did military ball, and then that's how he got drafted.
Oh, probably. If you take a look, military has a lot of things.
David Robinson.
Schedule.
No,
flights.
he
I don't
was
know.
he was in the Navy. He went to Naval Academy.
Okay.
And that's why they called him the Admiral. That was his
Oh,
nickname
okay.
for that.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm thinking about.
And of course, since we're bringing up military, I do want to put in a plug. There is a Marine that will be wrestling for the Olympics
wow.
this year. Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah,
man.
go yes.
And thank
get them.
y'all.
Semper Fi.
All you military folks out there, I want to say, always take my hat off to y'all. Thank you for what you do for us, for all us in our country, for y'all in our country. It matters.
It always has.
Yeah.
Go
All right.
ahead.
So
Yeah,
basically,
I had
I'm
a
looking
chance.
over some of the
I had a chance.
the news here, and one that did caught my eye, and maybe you guys would like to chime in. I mean, obviously, we don't know too much of what's going on, but obviously, we already talked about the Jared Goff and
Rams. trade.
Matthew Stafford trade,
Yep.
and Goff went on the record and made a comment that the fact that Detroit Lions did not
I saw that.
pick up a QB.
Still?
Well, they didn't. They got him.
him.
So they did not draft or pick up a QB in the free agency or the draft, which he's taking as a vote of confidence in his ability to lead them to the playoffs.
Well, with that being said, let's say this here, Jared Goff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you're a great talent.
We all do. I think we all agree.
You really
Yeah.
just got to.
Yes.
Yeah, the Detroit.
did
You and the
a lot.
Detroit Lions now have to marry each other
Rams.
and make this happen. If they get, if you feel what like I think you should, that this is a vote of confidence for you, you have to show up and play.
Well, let's take a look. I really believe that if you take a look at what the Detroit Lions have done over the last few seasons, maybe not this last season, but the 2 seasons prior to that.
Yeah.
Stafford has been putting up the numbers in spite of not having some solid receivers to throw to. The other thing that they've kind of been lacking is a consistent running game. They've had a decent running back, and he did what he could with what he has. But I think that issue is related to the weak offensive line that they're dealing with. So if you take a look, they got Goff. He's mobile. He can throw down the field. So the best thing that I could say for the Detroit Lions is 2 things. One, you want to beef up that offensive line. Find somebody to get it more solid. Find a coach. Find, players. Get them to gel as a unit to give him the protection. And also, twofold, get those holes for that running back, because the running back is decent enough. You just need to get him some decent holes to run through. Now, I know you guys are playing up some tough competition. Let's not forget, they're going up against Green Bay and Chicago
and
twice a year. And of course, Minnesota is not a slouch defensively either. So these guys are being put through the ringer, and that's another reason why they're struggling the way they are. Whenever you're in a tough division, it's hard to come out on top.
With what Josh said about beefing up that line, with their offensive tackle, Penei Sewell. That's a great pick for them.
Yep.
That's an impact. So that's an immediate starter. Should be more protection for Goff, and that's one piece right there that tells Goff also, you guys are committed to keeping me on my feet, which means I should be committed to getting this ball out of my hand and running this offense.
All right. So
He's still very healthy. I mean, he's got another 4 or 5 years in him.
Goff?
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Goff
only
was like 24 years old.
he's on
25
his
years old.
second contract.
Excuse me, another 10 years. Don't get hurt. Shit.
I mean, damn, you think he's Aaron Rodgers or something?
I guess that's just us old folks thinking about it. Killing me.
But hey, so speaking of Aaron Rodgers, what do you guys take on this?
Man.
I don't know. To me, it almost seems like too much hype.
Take each take.
All right, yeah, John, go ahead.
Okay.
Start us off
I said
with-
this earlier today. if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm making all this money to play football for the Green Bay Packers, which is I've been fortunate enough to win Super Bowls and
Well,
set-
one Super Bowl.
Super Bowl and set records.
Super Bowl. Singular.
Multiple playoff.
But I think he's
take my
made-
team multiple
Well, question,
multiple
let-
times to the playoffs.
I'm sorry, but let's go ahead and get that kind of solidified. We know that he's won one.
Yes.
Has he played in another?
That's something we have to check. I think he did.
I know that they made a deep run when San Francisco made it. Remember? Because they were in the playoffs. I think they got knocked out
Back
in the
in the
division round.
Back in the day.
Like, not this last year, but the year before when San Francisco played.
No, they
Kansas
weren't.
City.
They weren't.
Kansas.
They weren't in the playoffs again that year. I remember that.
I swear they were. Yeah.
Was it? Then it would have been Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he wasn't. No, I'm not saying he was in the Super Bowl. He was in the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
they made the. I'm
But I
not
think
sure.
they got. They
They didn't make it to the.
round.
Yeah, they didn't make.
They
it
didn't
to
make it to the conference. I think they got knocked out in the division
Yeah.
round. Anyway,
So what I'm saying is like these owners, they are the owners of the team. Their goal is their jobs are to make sure the owners and the coaches are to make sure that you, the quarterback, has the weapons you need to be competitive. You got upset that they cut 2 players, one before the season and one after the season, and you're saying that they're not going in the right direction, and all of a sudden now you want out. You've been in Green Bay your whole career. This is like you're trying. It's like you're trying to copy Tom Brady. I'm gonna go somewhere else and take them to the promised land. You couldn't even. Tom Brady took the Patriots to the promised land multiple times. You couldn't. Even, you only did it once. So
Well,
you
he-
might want to just sit back and chill out.
He's appreciative where he's
anyway,
at, but
I
now
think
he's mad.
and one, I think this is hyped. I really do. I don't know if there's a legitimate basis to any of this. I think it's something. It's a talking point. It's circling around because somebody made a comment somewhere, and then
He's going to play for San Francisco.
And maybe he's asking for a trade now because he heard rumor. Maybe he's not. I don't know. All I know is that this is a little suspicious. We haven't even gotten. We're not even approaching camp yet.
Yeah.
The rookie symposium doesn't happen for another couple of months.
Yeah, what I
Well,
heard
next month. I think it does
I
start
heard
in
somebody
June.
said that he wants to be more involved with the decision making of building the team.
And everybody does at this point,
he
especially
wants to be a
him.
coach.
Well, no, it's just like everybody's trying to model themselves after Brady, right? Brady was, and Brady, even over there in the New England, Brady wasn't as. He was influential, but he didn't have a major say in anything.
He wasn't finna cross Belichick like that.
No, and honestly, he trusted Belichick. I mean, take a look. He had no reason to doubt Belichick.
Belichick helped him build. It
Yeah.
was Brady Belichick
That
factor.
era.
The B and
Belichick was the coach on the sideline, and Tom Brady was the coach on the field.
On
But
the
Tom
field.
Brady listened to the coach on
making
the sideline.
executive decisions.
But anyway,
And then since the
but
split,
but it's the perception that he had more of a say, which is why you've got Deshaun demanding more of a
Yeah.
say. You got
Y'all-
Mahomes demanding more of a say. You've got and really, I mean, look, in a win now league, you basically try to go to the place that you can win, and I don't blame him. But then this is a question: so where do you think? I'm going to start with you. Where do you think is the best location for Rodgers to go to win now?
He's gonna say San Francisco.
to win.
I know that, but I'm just gonna give him
We got some whispering going on, sports fans.
so act like
Best
you didn't.
fit. All right, I'll give you 3 teams, John.
Give me okay.
Can I give you
in
3?
order?
Can I give you
1
3?
to 3.
My number one, because that's my team. San Francisco 49ers. Yes, look, Garoppolo's still there. Even though there's talk about him going back to New England, it's funny. You just came from New England, but you go back. Okay, what's the deal there?
Actually, that was almost
They
4
just
years
got
ago.
what? No. That was just this talk this past season. Honestly.
Garoppolo just was it's 2 years ago.
No, that was.
This will be his third year
No,
in
no,
San
it
Fran.
was this past
years.
season. They were talking about it was
Yeah.
like that pre-draft stuff.
But
Right?
yeah,
Making
yeah.
rumors
Second
and stuff
team.
like that.
Okay. Maybe the Jets. He can turn around the Jets. All right. Is he going to really take a pay cut for that? Maybe, maybe not. But you know what? He's already set
The
because
Jets?
it's his name. I'm just throwing a team out.
I'm gonna put a
I
question.
thought the
mark.
Jets. I thought the Jets grabbed a QB.
They grabbed a
this year.
QB.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. We were okay.
Well, no, you said the Jets. So who's third?
But I mean, you got to think
Well,
the
who's
veteran over the
Well, who's
rookies
third?
now.
Well, who's third?
Yeah, because
Third.
right now the I can't remember who it is, but yeah, you're right. Whoever was picked by the Jets would basically be starting this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third, my pick. Oh man, y'all gonna kind of jab me a little bit, but they do need a little help. I want to say the Saints, just because with our buddy leaving, Mr. Breeze, and then we still got
Jameis Winston's there.
Jameis,
so
but
is-
he's the
so
trick
is-
play player.
No, that was Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
No, James Winston did some trick plays.
No, that was just Taysom.
But
Hill.
Taysom Hill was the trick player.
He was a trick player.
Jameis Winston was the one that came from Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He's the one that went 40 and 40. 40 touchdowns, 40 interceptions.
I'd have to still look at
Well,
it.
I- I was-
Anyway,
I-
but okay.
San Francisco first, Jets
Yeah.
second, but
You don't
I
have a
can
third?
under-
Anyway.
I can understand him saying San
undecided for
Francisco
now.
because
Okay.
he says it out of loyalty to San Francisco, but he also
He
says
wanted to
San
be a
Francisco also
49.
has
Yeah, I know.
San Francisco
wanted to be a
also
player.
has some weapons over there that Aaron Rodgers would be okay with.
Right.
The Jets, that's not even. I don't even think that's a possibility for him. Why
not
would he
up.
go from a winning team to a losing team, like to start
Jets,
over?
Jets
turn it
no.
around like
So-
Garoppolo
You
did.
can't, you know,
But
you
there's
cannot
not
turn
enough
that. Garoppolo
elements
didn't turn
there.
that around.
I mean, take a
Yeah,
look. Even with Sam Darnold, who was doing a decent job over there, and he was
Yeah.
running for his life more often than not. Once again, poor offensive
Mm-hmm.
line. I mean, what's sad is that here you go out and get these quarterbacks, but if you don't get them the protection that they need, which also doubles as your solid run platform, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, it's not rocket science. You have these people that have been telling you this, and these coaches have been telling you this for years. Without that front offensive line that you can protect your QB and get solid run blocking out of,
You go back. If you go back,
you might as well throw in the towel because not every QB can do the dink and dunk and
Yeah.
and exchange that for a running game.
well, you go back 20 years to David Carr.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
All the talent in the world could not stay on his feet because somebody was always
Always-
pulling
always
his
wasn't
leg
a
Yeah,
and
running
grabbing his
quarterback.
jersey.
He wasn't a running
And,
quarterback.
he
all right.
became
Pat.
one though. But see, you're gonna send
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers to the Jets? I mean, no, that old man can't run like he used to. And then the last pick you said the Saints, pairing him with the coach over there, I would love to see that, but I don't think that would happen either. Because of, like Josh said, you got Jameis Winston there, you got Taysom Hill
Yeah.
already there. Why would they already invested money in them? Then you're gonna bring in Aaron Rodgers and make them sit even more, which means they're gonna be disgruntled players.
I didn't say
wouldn't
that
do
on
that.
purpose. I just have to say one thing, gentlemen. It really disturbed me last season. Not bad, but to see rookies over veterans, which is a good thing.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want the job. Can I prove my point?
But that's what it's supposed to be. You're
All right.
supposed
Yeah.
to come in
Eagles.
and take their job.
Miami, you saw it happen. 2 veterans, long term, different, more than 5 teams.
Well,
Got
I'm sorry.
beat out.
I'm sorry. The Eagles, the rookie was a better quarterback than the one that was starting. I'm gonna go and put it out there.
Miami.
Now in Miami, they were winning and they decided to put Tua in. And I'm to be honest with you, they got lucky that
Tua
it
made
worked
shit
out.
happen.
So my personal favorites for this, I don't dislike the 49ers.
Thank you.
I think that if they manage to make that work, and of course trading Garoppolo would have to be part of that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This
'Cause
year
he's
is either gonna make or
because
break
they're one
them
they can't
this season.
no team can afford to have 2 starting quarterback salaries. It's
That's
just not
true.
going to happen.
No,
That's
there
what
you
they
go.
That would be
did.
that would be
They
the only
happened to
problem.
them.
But as far as another one, and I don't know if he would do it, but I think Washington would be a good fit. They have a lot of solid
What about
talent.
Murray?
Washington that's not Kyle
shit.
Murray.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Washington, they just got rid of Alex Smith. Aaron Rodgers has the arm. They have the talent around him. They have a solid defense, a semi-decent offensive line. They have the components that they could definitely, with Aaron Rodgers, be competitive in the NFC East this year. Right?
Yes, they do. Yeah,
And
that's true.
that would be a good
didn't
place
think
for him to
about
go. The other place that I think that he would be a good fit, although I don't know if I like the competition,
Oh, boy.
would be like, well, there's already been rumor talk about Denver, okay, and the Raiders, even though they already have Derek Carr. I don't know if I necessarily like that.
But that's a trade.
But I could see them going to maybe Cleveland. But then once again, the
No.
level of competition. The only reason
Yeah.
I say Cleveland
Yeah.
is because they have some components,
They
but
have
it depends on if
way-
they're all in on Baker Mayfield, which there's
I think they are.
which they
Dude.
are. But if they weren't, that would be a spot because you only got Rodgers for what, 1 maybe 2 years,
Yeah.
for him to prove his point.
Mayfield's
so then
gonna be at Cleveland for a minute. That when Mayfield came in, that Cleveland
So
went,
and of course Cincinnati isn't going to take him because they're
Nah,
all in on
they got
Joe
Burrow,
Burrow.
yeah.
So what else?
Well, then you got teams like Minnesota, which he probably won't do. He won't do because it stays in the division. That's
same
a
division.
lot-
Oh, yeah,
They're not
That's a
gonna do the
lot
same
of
way.
booing.
that's true.
Chicago would be another good one, but same division.
But then
That's not going to happen.
they just drafted
and
Trey Lance.
they just drafted.
So
That was Justin Fields,
now,
right?
Justin Fields. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Now, with that being said, Justin Fields sits behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years.
That would actually work, but once
That-
again,
yeah.
What does
The Green
what
Bay
does
is not
Chicago
gonna
have
trade
to-
interdivision.
What does Chicago have to give Green Bay that will make Green Bay make that decision? Which I don't.
I think that you're in
Where
a
they
you're in a
need help?
conundrum because I don't think they're going to make that decision.
And the only other
No.
place, then the only other place is to trade him for what's the name in Seattle, and
Oh, dude, that ain't gonna happen.
But okay, but my only take on that though is
That ain't gonna happen.
But that ain't gonna happen because with that rivalry,
Yeah,
that rivalry
exactly.
of Seattle
That
and
ain't
Green
gonna
Bay, and I don't think Rodgers is doing good in the cold. You know, he's been there
That's
for
his
so long.
element.
That's his element. When you put him in cold and wet over there in Washington,
I just figured it out.
I don't know if that'll work.
Here's where he goes: Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, but they're not going to do that this year because they still have Ben for another year.
Yeah, still been for a year, but
So they
I'm
still have
saying
Ben.
Yeah.
If that's where he was going to go, that's what that would actually make more sense.
That would make more sense,
That
but
would
they
make
would
more
have to get
sense.
rid of Big Ben.
Because he steps into on a field where it's just like where he's used to playing in the cold and the wet and all this, and then he already has components around him where they don't have to build really that much to make. They probably need to get some better running backs that don't get hurt all the time. But other than that, the defense is still a little solid. The offense can use a better quarterback, and I think the reason they sucked last year was because they didn't have a good quarterback back there.
Yeah.
So. That's my thing. Pittsburgh would probably be the best place if they could do that.
And with the debacle, but unfortunately they're not competitive right now, even with Aaron Rodgers. Another good landing spot, Texans.
Deshaun, what happened?
But Aaron Rodgers won't go for it because the Texans are not even competitive in their own division.
Houston, we have a problem.
So, on that, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be
got
back,
me.
and we will talk more about some stupid sports stuff.